Hello everyone, welcome to our Google Spreadsheet tutorial. So for today's session, we're actually going to discuss on how you can utilize the Vlookup to combine multiple datasets. So for today's session, we actually have two cases, the Vlookup false and the Vlookup true. So for the first one, Vlookup false, we have two data sets here. The first one contains the student ID and the scoring. And the second one contains the student ID, the name of the student, but the score is missing. So what we are going to do now is we actually want to combine the first data set into the second one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to utilize the Vlookup function. And then the first thing that we need to do is to find the search key. The search key means the data that's available on both data sets, which we're going to use the student ID here, okay? And then the second one will be the range or the data that we want to refer to. So which is the first table here or the first data set. So you can highlight the table here or the range. But what you need to remember is since we are using this range as a reference, we need to ensure that the reference is not moving. So we need to make sure we put it as a reference here, absolute reference. And then the third one will be the index. Since we want to get the score, which score is happened to be on the second column, then we're going to choose 2. And the last one is sorted. So for these cases, we're going to use false. False means that the Vlookup function, we actually find the exact match that you are looking for. So let's try. So now we are getting that B02, which is Brad. He has a score of 80. So if you can check on the left table here on the first data set, which is B02 equals to 80. So now what we need to do is we just need to copy and paste for the rest of the row. And now we get all the students with the score from the first data set. So we can see that C03 equals to 65, E05 equals to 85, A01 75, D04 is 90. So that's everything's correct now. The Vlookup true case. Maybe this is something that you might have found before, and for this case we're going to have same cases like previously. We're going to have students scoring. So on the left we can see that for a student score range, like every range is associated to a specific value, right? So for example, if the student score below 50, then the student will get an E, right? But if somehow the student is very smart, he score higher than 86, then he or she will get an A. So now what we are going to do here, we need to match between the score that we get from the previous exercise to the value that we get here. So what we are going to do now is actually we're going to duplicate this data set, this table. So what we're going to do here, we're going to utilize the bottom range. So we're going to use 0, 51, 61, 71, and 86. Okay, so now we're going to do almost exactly the same like the previous one. We're going to use Vlookup function. I'm sorry. We're going to use Vlookup function here, and then since now we are going to match between the score and the value, then we will actually utilize score as the search key. And then we're going to put the score range here that we just previously made. And then don't forget, since we are going to utilize this range as a reference, to ensure that the reference is not moving, we need to make it absolute. And since we are going to get the value, which is happen to be on the second column, the first and second one. Then we need to put 2. And now we're going to utilize this true value. So true means that the Vlookup function will try to find the closest match to the score that we are going to search for. Okay, so if I close the function here now and then enter it, so now we get 80 equals to B. So if we go on the left here, we can see that 80 is actually happen between 71 and 85, which is B, which is correct, right? So now we can do the same. We can copy and paste to the rest of the row. And now we can see that, for example, 65 is equals to C, correct. 85 and 75 is here, right? It's B, and it's 90, which is higher than 86. He gets an A. So this is actually how you can utilize a VLOOKUP function for your everyday needs. Okay then, thank you and see you in the next tutorial.